Hi, Genki Call here with your Soulforge offerings for the week of June 12th, 2023. Got some exciting stuff in here, folks. Very, very exciting. But before I start, hold on just a second. Here is your list of upcoming Soulforge mythics for the rest of this cycle, courtesy of the amazing King Ollie. Wanted to be sure and show you this because I seem to forget every single time. So the question is, which exciting thing do we start with first? Let's start with the new weapon. So we now have a new craftable using the Lover's Tarot card. This is permanently going to be in the Soulforge, and this is called the Wand of Stars. You have to have this tarot card, which you can only get from the vault, so you've got to find some vault keys in order to get this thing. 10,000 souls and 10 of the celestial trait stones. This thing, looks pretty good. Choose one. Create 6 elemental stars. Bless all allies. And bless all allies. Wait. Create 6 elemental stars. Bless all allies. Or create 7 umbral stars and curse all enemies. I'm losing my mind. The wording on this is so odd. So, 6 elemental stars and bless all allies, or 7 elemental stars and curse all enemies. I don't know why they didn't just say that. Let's craft this thing and see what the upgrades are on it very quickly here before we continue. La 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 la. Weapon upgradable, please. There we go. And let's check this thing out. Where are you? Where have you gone? There it is! Upgrade. Here we go. So you get a cleanse, which is always very, very helpful. If you're entangled, if you're death marked, anything freeze, that cleanse is super useful. You're going to get a bunch of mana. The umbral stars are yellow and purple, and the elemental stars are all of the other colors. So there's going to be quite some good mana out of that, and it sounds very good on paper, but we'll see once we use it. I, of course, just got it, so I haven't tried it yet. Since we're going over weapons, we'll just go ahead and continue with that, but I'm excited to tell you what else is in the Soulforge, but we're going to start with this. So the Hammer of Nature, I don't know how I don't have this unless it's brand new. Light splash damage, that's the full amount to this, whatever troop you hit, and anything that's touching it, it literally has to be touching it, will get 1/4 of that damage. That information is right here if you ever have any question on that. Plus, it creates some green gems. It is nice and cheap, 75 diamonds. Definitely recommended if you want to... sorry, very tired. If you want to be sure you don't get power level blocked by weapons, that is such a pain. We do have some other good stuff in here. I can't stand it. I have to tell you. The awesome, awesome, awesome thing in here, for those that don't have it yet, it's Ironhawk. Ironhawk is in here. Ironhawk, dude! Alright, at the end of this video, in the last 15 seconds, you will see a mythic spotlight on Ironhawk with teams for quick explorers with 1 Ironhawk, with 2 Ironhawk, with your hero, without your hero, and just in general teams for Ironhawk besides the quick explorers. But this guy creates doom skulls and explodes some gems. You explode things, you're going to get the whole board cleared basically because you hit 1 doom skull and it's just going to explode the whole board. The thing is about Ironhawk and the way that this works and why people are excited about it for quick explorers is this. Deal 5 damage to all enemies when an ally casts a spell. So you cast something that's empowered and has an extra turn, you do 5 damage to all of the enemies. You cast another one that's empowered, 5 more damage to all enemies. And then you cast the Dust Devil, ba-dum-bum. That's 5 damage from the Dust Devil, and then 5 more from this. Of course, if you're using 2 Ironhawks, they do stack, so you don't just get 5 damage, it's 10 damage. If you have 3 Ironhawks, it's 15 damage every time you cast a spell. So Really, really super good. All right, now I have to backtrack and I'm going to tell you about the legendaries in here. The Imp of Love, this is, I don't recommend crafting any of the imps except for the Winter Imp at this point because the primal troops do not have a kingdom. You're not going to help any power levels by using them, and they're just not useful enough to, spend 800 diamonds on, in my opinion, except for the Winter Imp, which does true damage and rocks it with Shahbanu Vespera. This guy does scatter damage and charms a random enemy if I'm wounded, either bless all allies or give 3 magic to all allies. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. It uses red. You gain 8 magic on red gem matches. The thing is, about the Imp of Love, if you're a collector and you're getting down to having most of the things in the game, that would be a good reason to craft this. Simply because the imps are seasonal. The Imp of Love is usually only available, it's only available in chests during a certain time of year. Same with the Winter Imp, the Spring Imp, the Spooky Imp. All of those are seasonal and only in chests for a short period of time. So this is out of season. The only way to get it out of season is from a legendary task or from the Soulforge. So, oh yeah, and the Fire Link is very nice as well. All right, next up for legendaries, we have the Dark Monolith. There's actually quite a few exciting things in the Soulforge right now, folks. There's still some exciting stuff to go over in here, besides Ironhawk and the new weapon, so stay tuned for that. The Dark Monolith does damage to the 2 weakest enemies and double damage if you yourself or it itself is damaged, which is pretty nice if it's damaged, but I don't like to let my stuff get damaged if I don't have to. It does have skull damage reduction by 50% and gains 3 magic anytime an enemy casts a spell. So this number goes up every time your enemy casts. Again, with the legendaries, I generally don't recommend spending 800 diamonds unless they are amazing, unless there's a specific team that you're dying to use, or unless you are blocked on your power level and have to have that troop. So let's see what else we have here. Obregonia. I like Obregonia actually. Very good for quick delves. Damage to all enemies, bleeds them. You can do up to 4 stacks of bleed. That's right here. And 4 stacks of bleed does 10 true damage per turn. It's pretty nice. But basically, I usually only use her for events and for quick delves. She does bleed a random enemy when matching green gems. Don't even need a match for 1 damage to all enemies whenever you match skulls. Ulfherigen does true damage to 3 enemies, I believe? Yes, true damage to 3 random enemies. You don't get to choose. If the enemy is wounded, deal 10 extra damage. I still haven't tested to see if that 10 extra damage is true damage or whether it goes on the armor. I keep forgetting to check that, so I'm not positive. But it also will summon Ulf's mascot if you have an open space, a little bit of a meat shield there. Gain, the banding, meh, and skull damage reduction by 25%. Okay, let's go back and look at all of the exciting things in the Soulforge. So we've got Famine. Just like the imps, this thing has no kingdom. The Apocalypse troops do not have a kingdom. They are not going to help your power levels, so I highly recommend saving them until you have all of the other things as far as crafting goes. And in the meantime, maybe you'll happen to pull it from your keys. This one's going to drain mana from all enemies. Does it drain all mana from all enemies? I guess it does. I guess it drains all mana from all enemies. You can see I don't have it yet, so I don't know. Damage to 1 enemy boosted by the mana drained. So if you drain 10 mana from each, that's 40 times 2. That's plus 80 plus this. It just depends on whether or not they have mana. First enemy loses 3 skill points at the start of each and every turn, and all enemies lose 2 random skill points at the start of battle as well. Again, no kingdom, so keep that in mind. Zethinos, he is also an Apocalypse troop, and he's always here, so, you know, I'm saving him till last. I have all of the weapons to get him, but I'm not wasting 4,000 diamonds on him, even though I could craft him right now. I'm not going to. Always here, Shahbanu Vespera, which I mentioned just a few minutes ago. I think that I did a mythic spotlight on her, and if I did, I will throw that in towards the end of this video as well as far as a link goes. She gives your half your magic to a random skill on an ally. She can also cast on herself. She creates 9 gems of that mana color and repeats 2 more times for random allies. This may sound very confusing, but you put her on a monochromatic team, all blue, all purple, or all yellow, and you loop, and you loop, and you loop, and it's just freaking amazing. I love Shahbanu Vespera. It is very slow, but it can be very fun to do, especially when you've got the Winter Imp, like I mentioned earlier, and you're getting +8 to all skills every time you cast on blue, and that's all true damage. Not to mention, she can hit magic. She may hit any of these values, but she can also hit magic. So, you know, I really, really like her. I think I've got a mythic spotlight. Hopefully I do, and you'll find that towards the end of this video. Enraged Kurandara is always here. Ironhawk already went over. Leona's Tower also always here. These two are always here, and Elder Dragon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Did they remove it? Oh. So Kurandara was in here for 1,000 diamonds through yesterday, but they have now removed it. It looks like it was up through reset, but apparently they've removed it now. So hope you got it last week. Sorry I wasn't able to put out a video on it, but you should have gotten an email, or not an email, but you should have gotten an in-game mail about it. So hopefully you caught that and were able to grab that. The last one we have here is the Elder Dragon. I believe this is the first time the Elder Dragon has been in the Soulforge. I could be wrong. This one does damage to all enemy, create 9 cursed gems, those are brown, boosted by cursed enemies, and eliminate 3 magic from all enemies when matching 4+ gems, and start the battle with the Madness Storm. Madness Storm is the same one that Lyraza has. It is blue and purple, which partly feeds back into itself, and yeah, that's about it. So if you need another mythic for Karakoth, this is a magic kingdom. If you are power level blocked there, might be good to craft this guy. But of course, Ironhawk's in the Soulforge right now, so if you don't have that, or if you really want to have Shahbanu Vespera, those are both good choices. As far as weapons go, there are some good stuff in here besides the new weapon. But then the new weapon's always going to be here. These others are only here this week while we are in Forest of Thorns. So the elemental bow, super useful, especially now that we have an elemental class. This does damage to an enemy boosted by elemental allies and creates a mix of 6 blue and green gems for each elemental ally. There's plenty of elementals that use blue and green. Right off the top of my head, I can tell you that Roanne is an elemental and she uses blue and green. Also creates a leaf storm and entangles the first enemy. So it's a really nice weapon. Not my usual, you know, splody weapon, but very useful. It also does damage, mana gen, leaf storm, all that nice stuff. So definitely recommend thinking about that one. The Rift Blade, this thing does damage to an enemy, summons a random imp. This, I believe, is this from the Underworld? Hold on. Let's go see. Today is Tuesday, and there is one, oh, it's gotta be the Rift Blade. Yeah, it's the Rift Blade. So this is the faction, sorry, my mind. This is the faction weapon, and you can only get it when there is a faction assault, meaning it's only going to be in the Soulforge today, on Tuesday. The 13th, whatever today is. Yes. Yeah, the 13th. Only today or the next time we go to Primal Rift. However, I don't recommend getting it with your diamonds. I recommend getting it here in the Faction Assault shop. It's a lot cheaper to use gems. Yeah, it's a few gems. It's a few gems. It certainly is. But gems are a lot easier to come by than diamonds, so definitely recommend getting it here if you really want to have it. And again, it's okay. It's really not a great thing, but it does create a leaf storm, which does feed back into itself. So let's head back into the Soulforge and go over some more weapons. La la la. There we go. Oaken Crown. This thing does damage to an enemy boosted by Forest of Thorns allies. Creates a mix of 6 green and yellow gems for each Forest of Thorns ally. If you were going to choose between this and the elemental one, I definitely would say to go for the elemental bow instead, but this does also looks like it will cleanse your first troop when you, or your hero when you cast it, and entangle the first enemy. I'm not sure what these other two, I don't remember. The Bow of Thorns, this one's a cheapo 75 diamond one. Definitely recommend crafting some weapons if you can every time you go to a kingdom, just because you don't want to get power level blocked on your weapons. It is so difficult to get past that. Remove all green gems. You won't get any mana out of it, but you will deny it to your enemy. You'll boost the damage on the spell, and if the enemy is from Forest of Thorns or the battles in Forest of Thorns, deal double damage. And then we've got the Hammer of Force. This does damage to an enemy with a 4% chance to kill them, boosted by elemental enemies, plus 4% for each elemental enemy. That's a max of 16. So you can get a max of 20% chance to kill on this thing. Just insta-kill. And Wand of Stars. What already went over that at the beginning of the enemy. Sorry, the video. Like I said, this is always going to be here. It's not going to go away. The post on the forum said it's permanent in the Soulforge at this point. And I'm pretty sure they're never taking trick and treat out of here. They were supposed to ages ago. Alright, Amethyst Band. This is one of my favorite splody weapons. Not my favorite splody weapons, but my favorite type of weapon, which is the splody weapon. Explode green gems, grant a random status effect to all elf allies, and summon an elf troop. It does not feed back into itself, but, you know, I really love these weapons, and I use them all the time because that is just my play style. And the Hammer of Nature, which we already went over. So lots of nice stuff in the Soulforge right now for you to think about using your diamonds on. I hope that you have plenty of diamonds this week. I hope that you've also enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and check out the videos popping up on the screen right now. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you may be, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye!